Something huge just happened in the AI world, but almost nobody noticed the rule buried inside it. The United States is preparing a new rule, a rule that could control who builds artificial intelligence worldwide. At first glance, it sounds technical, just another export regulation. But the real story is much bigger, because this rule targets the most powerful resource in modern technology: AI chips.
The processors that train massive AI models, the hardware that powers data centers, the engines behind ChatGPT-like systems. And now the US government may require permits to export them, not just to China, to the entire world. This move is coming from the US Commerce Department. Officials are reportedly drafting a new global licensing system. Under this system, companies may need government approval before selling advanced AI chips overseas, even to friendly countries. That changes everything, because right now, the world runs on American AI chips. Companies like Nvidia dominate the market. Their processors train most of the world's AI systems. Data centers in Europe use them. Cloud providers in the Middle East depend on them. Startups in Asia build their AI stacks around them. In many cases, there is no real alternative, which means controlling these chips means controlling the speed of global AI development. And that is exactly what Washington appears to be considering. But to understand why this matters, we need to rewind. For years, the United States has been trying to slow China's progress in artificial intelligence. The concern is simple. AI will shape military power, economic dominance, and global influence. Countries that lead in AI may control future technologies, autonomous weapons, cyber warfare systems, advanced surveillance networks, and powerful intelligence tools. So the US has already restricted chip exports to China. Those restrictions targeted high-performance GPUs, the exact type used to train large AI models. But China has been finding workarounds. Companies routed chips through other countries. Data centers appeared in regions with looser controls. Cloud computing allowed indirect access. In other words, the restrictions were leaking, and Washington noticed. So the new strategy appears much broader. Instead of targeting only China, the US may control where powerful AI chips go globally. That means companies exporting certain chips could need government permits. The goal is simple: track where the hardware ends up and prevent indirect access by rivals. But this move carries massive consequences, because AI development depends on scale. Training modern AI models requires thousands of chips, sometimes tens of thousands. Massive clusters of GPUs working together. Those clusters live inside enormous data centers, and those data centers are expanding everywhere. Saudi Arabia is investing billions into AI infrastructure. The United Arab Emirates is building massive compute clusters. European governments are funding sovereign AI programs. Asia is racing to build local AI ecosystems. All of them need chips, mostly American chips. So if export permits become mandatory worldwide, every major AI project could suddenly face delays. Government reviews, licensing approvals, and possible restrictions. That could slow the expansion of global AI infrastructure. But the biggest shock may hit Silicon Valley itself. Companies like Nvidia and AMD depend heavily on international markets. A huge portion of their revenue comes from overseas sales. Data centers, cloud providers, research labs, universities, all of them buy advanced AI hardware. If export permits become mandatory, the approval process could slow down shipments, and uncertainty could grow. Investors are already watching closely, because the AI boom has been driving massive demand for chips.
Nvidia became one of the most valuable companies in the world, all thanks to AI hardware demand. But this new policy introduces a powerful variable: government control over global chip distribution. And that leads to a bigger question. Is this really about exports, or is it about controlling the AI race itself? Think about the strategic logic. Artificial intelligence is becoming the most important technology of the century. It affects defense, finance, healthcare, manufacturing, energy, education, and national security. Whoever leads in AI could shape the next global order. So controlling the hardware that powers AI is one of the strongest levers a government can use, especially when your companies dominate the supply. And right now, American firms still lead the advanced AI chip market. But that dominance is not guaranteed forever. China is investing heavily in domestic chip development. Companies are working on alternatives to Nvidia hardware. Other countries are also trying to build independent semiconductor industries because relying on foreign chips is risky, and this new rule could accelerate that shift. If countries fear export restrictions, they may invest even more aggressively in their own chip manufacturing. That means new factories, new research programs, new semiconductor ecosystems. In other words, the policy designed to maintain technological leadership could also trigger a global race to bypass it. Which brings us to the real hidden detail. This is not just an export rule. It is a strategic move in the technology war between the United States and China. A war fought with silicon, algorithms, supply chains, and data centers. The AI race is no longer just a tech industry story. It is now a geopolitical battleground, and the fight over AI chips may decide who leads the next era of global power.